H.Con Res 14. It is time to get familiar with this because this is our new budget blueprint for 2026 all the way to 2034. This is our tax cut budget blueprint. So I'm going to explain a little bit of this as well as I can explain it and understand it. So, the budget for the government is very similar to our own budget in our house. We have different categories. So, we've got one particular that is concerning Committee of Energy and Commerce. Okay, that is one. That is one of the committees. We also have other committees here. And I've explained this in another video and I will link it. And we also have Committee on Ways and Means. Okay. So, we're the peons down here, right? There is each of us paying taxes. And we're going to have our government over here. So each of us pays into the government, right? We're paying the government. The government's job is to take that money and distribute it to our different states, right? So we're going to say Kansas here, I don't know, Nebraska, Colorado. Okay, that's the simplified terms for that. Each state also has their own budget. Each state on what people pay into the government is also different based off of our incomes and all that kind of thing. But we'll get into that in a second. So, based off of our blueprint here, we know that the Committee on Energy and Commerce shall substitute changes in laws within its jurisdiction to reduce the deficit by not less than $880 billion for the period of fiscal years 2025 through 2034. So, they want to decrease this committee by $880 billion. We also know, that was on page 41. Page 43. Committee on Ways and Means. The Committee on Ways and Means shall submit changes in laws within its jurisdiction that increase the deficit by not more than $4.5 trillion for the period of fiscal years 2025 through 2034. So we're going to be increasing this by $4.5 trillion. Okay, also on page 43. Increase in statutory debt limit. The Committee on Ways and Means shall submit changes in laws within its jurisdiction that increases the statutory debit limit by $4 trillion. Okay. So, I believe we will be having an increase in debt by $8.5 trillion. Now, to think of it this way as in our own budget, if we want tax cuts, that means us peons down here and also the 1%, because they're also receiving tax cuts, right? We're not paying the government anymore. They want us to not pay the government $8.5 trillion. We will not have that income in the government any longer. It's not there. The only way to make an 8.5 trillion tax cut is to cut in all these other areas, right? That's the only way, because we're not going to be paying the government any more money to be able to get our tax cut. So what does that mean for us? Well, we're going to see a lot of changes. Because in order to get the tax cut, remember I said we're having all the they're making cuts. So things we're already seeing cuts in. Museums. Some of those will probably be closing. National parks will be probably closing. They have completely destroyed our healthcare in the federal government. So we're going to be seeing healthcare changes because there is no more medical research. No more medical research. They cut it. So huge implications for that. If you have a child that has a genetic disorder, no more research for that. Anybody who has cancer, no more research for that. I do believe here medical societies are fighting back in court for that. The thing that some of the Democrats are sounding alarms on is the $880 billion cut in that Energy and Commerce Committee. Because within that Energy and Commerce Committee is the HHS. The HHS oversees Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. I don't know exactly sure where Social Security fits in all this. I don't know everything, you know. I only have been studying a lot to understand all of this. Okay, so we have to cut $880 billion from the Energy and Commerce Committee. It's right here in the bill. They're saying that's not possible without cutting. Cut. That's all we're doing. So, expect changes with your Medicare, your Medicaid, your SNAP. A lot of people are going to be getting hurt, sadly. Two things on that, I guess. We'll talk here. So, a budget blueprint is only telling the committees that I want $880 billion cut from this committee. So now, anyone who is in the committee, which unfortunately this committee right here is Republican-led. They have the majority. They have to agree on what programs to cut to get to $880 billion. There is other things under this committee, which, remember I said the committee was Energy and Commerce. And what exactly, you can look it up. It's all on the internet there for you. Okay, so that is one of their concerns. Let's talk about it. So, Republicans say they want a tax cut. They want a tax cut because to them, this is the peon Republicans. They're going to have more money in their pocket, right? Well, the unfortunate thing is that you might have maybe a few more dollars in your pocket, but now because we are making such a drastic amount of tax cuts for the next 10 years, you are going to have your Medicare messed with, your Medicaid messed with. So Medicaid, that's going to impact anyone who has a grandparent in the nursing home, who is handicapped. So it's not just poor people. There's also a lot of children who are on this as well. So, okay, you might have a couple more bucks in your pocket, but you're going to be losing a lot of stuff, because the only way to give tax cuts is to cut it somewhere else out of the government. Also, national parks. I'm so sad about that. I guess we'll have to see which ones they get rid of. So, in the end, the amount of money that you're probably getting back in your pocket is not anywhere near to what you're losing. Because each one of us only pays a little bit of money, and we put it in a pot. And when we all pay a little bit of money, we can make a big pot, right? And we can help people. And the people buy the rest is like, help the peons, help the rest of us, help us have resources and services. But no, y'all want a tax cut. Now, yes, inherently a tax cut would be great. It would. I agree. The problem is the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act that was passed by Donald Trump in his first term actually gave the 1% a huge tax cut. And we're speculating at this time they are also going to get a huge tax cut. So if we're the little guys over here and we get a tax cut, and these guys, the 1%, also get a tax cut, that means they're not paying their fair share into the big pot, right? There is speculation that our taxes will actually go up. I have it all on my website. You can see all the resources and everything. So the way that this is going to be doesn't make sense. We won't know for sure until which committee is it? The Committee on Ways and Means decides specifically what their tax cut is going to be. What would make more sense is to give the peons, us, a tax cut, and the 1% put their tax where it needs to be. Because who's the 1%? Elon Musk. And actually, there's evidence out there that says he doesn't hardly pay taxes. They're gaming the system. So if we had a tax cut and we put in just a little bit of money into the pot, and the 1% who is essentially making money off of us anyways, because did you know that Elon Musk also has government contracts? He gets our tax money already. He gets government contracts through the Pentagon, Starlink. I think there was one other one. I can't think of it right now. So regardless, he's taking our tax money too. What is the other one that he does, the rocket ships? Whatever that's called. he's also getting our tax money for that. And mind you, he keeps blowing them up. So he keeps blowing our money up with that. So if we had our tax cuts here and paid a little bit, and they paid their fair share, that would really help out the middle class. But that's not what's happening, unfortunately. The 1% is going to get a tax cut, and we're also going to get a tax cut, but it's not going to help us because cut. We're going to see cuts all throughout, so our services are going to be cut now, a lot of them. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be hurt, and then this is for the next 10 years, unfortunately. So I hope I explained that well enough. That's just a short overview of how I understand it. Let me know if you have any questions.